All right, and tonight we would like to welcome our guest on here, Mr. Paul Denard. Um, I would like to say the CEO of GDOT, but I don't think they have that, but he is over our area. And Mr. Denard.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, council member. How are you doing?
Best day of my life.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir. And so I want to go ahead and get started, and you have the floor. As I do want to ask something, though, is that can this happen? Because we're waiting on the second phase of the sidewalks to come down Highway 279. But at the corner of Highway 279 and Flat Shoals, that four-way stop sign, because we do have a lot of fatalities and accidents. Is it possible to get a pedestrian bridge that goes all the way around? Have you ever been like the Vegas to see that model, like the pedestrian bridge on all four sides that it will go around and come out? Is that possible? Oh, and that lights up at night.
So, and this is at Flat Shoals in 279, right over there by, I think this is Kroger over there. Let me
Yes,
see.
sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so I got a couple thoughts on that. So I guess I'll address that question first. In regards to pedestrian bridges, we've had kind of mixed reviews here in Georgia. We don't necessarily as a department encourage the pedestrian bridges simply because they don't really get used. We've got a couple and they're in Gwinnett. We've got the one at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We've got some others that have gone up. And I think there's one that's under construction in College Park, but we don't see a lot of times them using the pedestrian bridge. Instead, they'll walk right underneath the pedestrian bridge in traffic. So, that's what we've traditionally seen, and in terms of implementation, if it's just an absolute, hey, we want to make this a gateway, we want to make this something, usually our local government or whatever the local government is. I know College Park took the lead on it, and Cobb County took the lead on theirs. Usually the local government will take the lead on it with partnership with ARC, which is the Atlanta Regional Commission. And they have funding this specifically for pedestrian and alternative mode of transportation, funding allotments for that. So it's a locally led initiative, and GDOT just comes alongside and says, hey, this is what you need to get the project underway. So that's my response for the pedestrian bridge. In terms of the issue at hand over there, Roosevelt Highway and the South Fulton Parkway ramps, I wish I had more to report for you guys, but we do have some good news in that we're about 70% of the way through our traffic study there. We actually took our traffic volume, our counts, we had to do them by hand, manually with our district forces. Usually we contract it out, but we had to rush and hurry up and beat school exiting. So we've just recently took the counts as of 2 weeks ago. So now our engineering team is processing through that, seeing if the traffic signal or any other intersection control meets warrants for installation. And they're looking at also the crash history at the eastbound exit ramp, the westbound exit ramp, as well as Feldwood. I think that's Feldwood is the next intersection down. Yes, Feldwood. So they're taking a look at those three intersections as a part of that traffic study, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward with one of the recommendations there. The intent that I've instructed them is that we got to do something. We've been out there, we've put the wrong way signage up. We've enhanced the pavement markings over there. And so, we've done kind of the short-term fix. Now we're looking at more of an intermediate fix by way of either a traffic signal or some other intersection control out there. So we want to come back to this group in early June, once we've vetted that traffic study and seen what the solution is. Come back before this group and present you guys what the results of that study is. And hopefully we'll be able to have identified some funding resources to implement that traffic solution. So.
Absolutely. So can we come back with the funding to do so we can have just whatever decision y'all come up with, immediate implementation? And I know immediate for GDOT means like 2 weeks.
No. Whatever. Well, the traffic study, I told them need to be done by the end of this month. So y'all are going to get the hot off the presses, analysis results. I intend to immediately try to fund whatever the solution is. Now, it depends on what that solution is. Now, if we have I'm trying to make sure that the solution is very minimal impact, meaning that we don't have to have any property acquisition or utility relocation or utility impacts. We're kind of close to the railroad right there. So if we're able to say, do something that's very minimal and not really, invasive, then we can get something quickly done out there.
Absolutely. And speaking of the railroad, how is your relationship with the railroad?
I think our relationship is like anybody else who works with the railroad. They are the previous owners. They are a landowner. They are a utility company. So we're often in negotiation with them to try to acquire or utilize some of their property, get easements to do fixes. But the same challenges I believe the city of South Fulton has, GDOT has as well. Absolutely.
And is there any way to talk to them to get the air rights to kind of connect Malvern and Fairwood along with Stacks Road to create a bridge that goes over the railroad tracks? I know they're looking at a design concept down in Union City. And is that possible that that design concept can just extend through Stacks Road and extend to the city of South Fulton as well, seeing that there is an approved bridge to go over the railroad tracks? Because see, when that train gets stuck constantly, and sometimes 14 hours on a Saturday, inconceivable, but it does actually happen. But also too, with this new legislation that's going on because of the Norfolk Southern issue, that the holding times in proximity to a school is trying to wipe that out, which means that they would no longer be able to hold on Fairwood because we have an elementary school right down the street in the within that mileage frame. So is that something that a conversation GDOT later, or that's our city going and talking to CSX directly?
Well, I'm going to say that that's probably the city going directly to CSX, especially as regarding the legislation and this proximity to the school. You probably know a little bit more about that, council member, than I do. But yes, a direct conversation. I believe I've actually sat on a conversation with city staff and CSX, as well as GDOT staff, and discussing some of those solutions. I think making sure that conversation is ongoing and that it doesn't just slide off the radar is important. And one of the takeaways was trying to look at the impacts of Feldwood to see, if there's anything. The difference that I know between what's going on down at Union City, I've heard about some of the concepts. I know that it was mainly supposed to be a pedestrian bridge, I believe. I don't know if it had vehicular traffic, but certainly I can dig into that and look into that, and maybe have some sort of response or follow up with you in regards to feasibility of a overpass.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to ask you to help me facilitate a conversation with them, Because we do, at minimum, they could put a warning that train on the tracks kind of coming around the corner down Fairwood and Mallory, so that people don't have to get all the way down there, see a train, then turn around. If they have forewarning. And I think that that's something that, like I said, is being a good, community partner and engaging partner, is that's, at minimum, something that it's a small ask. But I would ask for you to help facilitate that conversation, because you have a better relationship with them than I do. And so that, as you stated, that you sat in on those communications, and I think to me, I always say collaboration wins championships. So I think that that's something that I would like to explore. Would you be willing to help me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's my man. I appreciate that so much. And so, but the question is, at the corner of Roosevelt Highway and Buffington Road, that little intersection, they've been on me for 3 years about the same intersection that needs those improvements, and particularly too off of Fairwood. Is there going to be any detail lane coming across and then going out to the right? And then how are we dealing with because we do have a lot of truck parking now on Stacks Road and throughout the region in the area. How is that going to impact the roads that GDOT is maintaining and the right of ways? Because as to like existing traffic trying to get out, because we do have truck traffic, but we also have more homes being built, but we have the same traffic measures. How are we looking at, I know what y'all doing on Buffington Road, and we can speak about that later, like the progress with that is, but how is that going to affect like those major roads on Roosevelt Highway, and their city streets like Mallory and Fairwood and Buffington Road, that intersection?
So make sure I understand, this is the intersection of Roosevelt Highway and Buffington Road, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so as you know, and you kind of started alluding to it, we've got a project that's widening Buffington Road in that area. So there's going to be some subsequent improvements in and around the immediate area of Buffington Road and Roosevelt Highway. I know that we're putting sidewalk at least all the way down in front of the entirety of that Wayfield Foods shopping center. There's going to be some bus stop enhancements. There's going to be some turn lanes that are put in there on Buffington. And I'm trying to pull up the link, as we progress through the meeting. I might try to put a link in there to at least some of the illustrations or project layouts, so that the folks can see what we showed at the PIOH. And they can see maybe a drawing of what that intersection would look like. Certainly absolutely willing or absolutely free to come to the area office and obtain some plans, or we always keep a set of construction plans for all of our projects. So, y'all are right there by the area office. Our area office is right there at Roosevelt Highway and Welcome All Road. So y'all are able to come there and say, hey, I'm a member of the community. I would love to see the plans of what's going on at Buffington Road. So
okay, if you're not in that office, who do they ask for those plans?
There's a woman by the name of Maury who's there, and the area manager who's there. His name is Ruben McCullers, and he's the manager of that particular area office. So in asking for any one of them will help you. They'll help you out.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Councilman Reeves, and I just got on the call, Jane Williams. I've ridden by that office several times, and it seems like that gate is always closed. Does it stay closed all the time, or what?
It should not be closed during business hours. So if y'all are going between the hours of 8 and 5,
yes.
If y'all are going there and it's closed, you can call me, and then we'll make some changes.
Oh,
So
okay, and you put your phone number in the chat?
it should not be closed. Okay.
Okay.
I will put my phone number in
Okay.
the chat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Reed.
Thank you, Jane Williams.
Okay, welcome.
Hi, this is Suzette Goolsby, and I have a question. In regards to, y'all are talking about Roosevelt Highway, and Roosevelt Highway from College Park, where Main Street ends and goes into Roosevelt Highway. It starts the speed of 45 miles an hour. And we get to, I guess you would say around the Siloam Church, and the speed limit goes 55 for about 2 miles to Stonewall Tail. And then it goes back down to 45 until you get into the outskirts of Fairburn on Roosevelt Highway. Why do we have about 2 miles? Maybe possibly 3. I haven't gauged it, but why is it 55 on that strip of land on Roosevelt?
I will say that, and I'm trying to follow you on these specific locations, but I do know that Roosevelt switches between 45 and 55, as you kind of advance down and throughout the corridor, South Fulton getting into Fairburn, and it picks up speed. But it has a lot to do with what the established speed limits have been. Probably when the road was designed. I know that there's in some section, the roads are 12 foot, 12-foot lanes, wider lanes. You have that center turn lane, so, you would probably associate that with the higher speed of 55. And then there's some sections of Roosevelt Highway that are only 4 lanes where the center turn lane goes away. And, it seems like the lanes are narrow. They're probably 11.5 feet, maybe even 12, but you get more into that urban feel. And I know when you get down into, some of those areas kind of nearby the Union City area and some of those more urban centers, that's when it's reduced by 45. But I will say this, if there's inconsistencies in the speed, GDOT usually works with the local government to do what are called renewals of the master state order and the master list of roads for every jurisdiction. And so whenever a local government would like to say, hey, we think that the speed limit on this road should be 45 based on what we're seeing, the law permits them to do an engineering study, an engineering traffic investigation. And if the speeds support that particular new speed that they're looking for, they can update that speed along the roadway. And we can help them with that process of getting it through Georgia State Patrol as well.
Oh, okay, because it's basically that's where you see a good portion of the accidents occurring is during that strip. And you still have other accidents elsewhere, but this is where a good portion of accidents are occurring. And it's the 55 mile an hour strip because once you get to the Siloam, it's 45, going towards College Park, and where it's still 45 coming from College Park. And then it picks up to 55. And then in Stonewall Tail, it starts going, it goes down to 45. And then you go into Fairburn. You cross over 138 and it's 45, and then it drops down to 35 during inside Fairburn, and then picks back up. And it eventually does go to 55 before you get to the other city that I always want to say some different name to it, Pimento. And but you're like, it's that one strip, there's a lot of congestion coming into that area. And, we have pedestrians going across the street. So, and you're conducting a survey.
Here's some mail. Give you something to do at night. Since you don't have nothing to do.
Oh, man, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so when you're doing your study on Roosevelt Highway, are you looking at the speeds also?
So when we're doing our traffic investigation, particularly
Mhm.
the ones up by the South Fulton Parkway, we are looking at all of the factors. We're looking at speed, we're looking at crash history, we're looking at roadway width, the right of way, all of that, and making our recommendation from that. So we're going to take a look at that. When you do a speed study specifically,
Mhm.
You're getting out there and getting the 85th percentile speeds and so forth. And so I believe that the speed limit in the area that we're doing our speed study is 45 miles an hour. But it might be 35. I think it's 45 over there by the interchange with South Fulton Parkway. So I don't think that
Actually, it's 55.
it is. I will look into that, and we'll try to incorporate that into the study since we're out there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Suzette. Anybody else have a question?
I have a question. It's Miss Loretta.
Go ahead,
Hey,
Ms.
good
Loretta.
evening. Good evening, everybody. Mr. Paul, can you pull that diagram back up again that we just had up?
That wasn't me. That was
That was me. I'll pull it back up.
Thank you, Tamiko. So in that diagram, I'm looking at everything that's highlighted in green. And my question would be, right here. All the green, and as I'm looking at the diagram, can you give us some kind of indication of what's going on in this picture? Because I'm assuming that the far end to where we're dead end, that's Roosevelt Highway, and this whole highlighted area is Buffington Road. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. So right here in this subdivision, which subdivision is that? That's on the lower part of the screen. Is that Buffington subdivision right there? What subdivision before it crosses over the highway? When you look all the way to your left, and if you zoom in, it looks like a bunch of homes right here in this subdivision. Can you tell me what subdivision that is? That looks like the bright green, highlighted green is highlighted where these homes are. Can you tell me what subdivision that is?
So the bright green where the larger development, it's Sable Chase and Sable Glen.
Okay.
And if whoever it is, if you push control and then scroll on the wheel of your mouse, you'll be able to zoom in, and we labeled all of the communities that were affected. And matter of fact, there were some affected communities in this project that hadn't even been built yet when we had this. So we were negotiating with the developers and how they would, place their apartment complexes, place their particular ways. The green shows easement. It doesn't necessarily show right of way. It shows
easement. Okay.
And so the red required right of way, that red that's showing the right of way, and typically we place that right behind the sidewalk. So the green just indicates areas where we'll be trying to chase slope, or there's some construction. We're gonna have to basically allow, maybe even clear, to make sure that the road is level. And so all of the right of way for this project has already been acquired. So every single property owner has already been contacted. Everything should have been closed. They should have received their compensation, whatever it may be. We're just now looking for the construction to begin. And that's something that we'll be keeping in touch and sending press releases and making sure that the local government is informed. If there are particular neighborhoods along, I'm gonna put my email in the chat. If there are particular neighborhoods along Buffington Road that would like to be a part of that email distribution list of closures, different things like that, as the project progresses, I would be happy to take that information, contact email, and we'll send out any closure information or anything like that. So
Perfect.
that's the green you see, but the other green that you see, the lines with the yellow represents the sidewalks. And then of course you have the gray that represents the asphalt that's going to be placed out there. So,
Okay, great. Tamiko, can you move a little bit to the left of the screen? Because I'm almost certain you guys are right in the back of my backyard. And I just want to make sure, because whatever letters went out, okay, that's Sable Chase. Okay, that's Sable Chase. Can you go further down when you're going down by 85? You more to the, probably going to be your right. Yep, there, yep, that's it. Yep, that direction. And so here's Highway 85. So you guys are going to stop there. Okay, I don't see. And this is Sable Chase. This says Legacy Ridge Apartments.
yes,
Okay.
this document may be a little dated. And so if there's a new management company or something like that, like I said, there's developments that have come in some of these parcels that we had to do a negotiation with the developer. So, but this is just a general look at what we're expecting. If you want to see the latest and greatest, make an appointment there at the area office.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure you guys are not coming down Buffington Road going past the high school. So we're not doing anything right at the high school. Let me just ask you that, because I don't see that on this map. And I just want to make sure we got a clear, transparent answer that we are not doing anything near the high school, because that's where Buffington Park subdivision will be affected, because Sable
Yes.
Chase is right down the street from me. So where are we stopping at? Because in this map, I don't see it, but I want to make sure I don't see it and don't understand the map. That makes sense?
Yeah, so where you see it stop over there by Rural South Parkway, we're not going anywhere beyond that.
Okay. All right. Just want to make, okay, that makes sense then. Okay, Rural South Parkway. Okay. Thank you. Another question is back to Roosevelt Highway. And this might be a more question for you, Councilor Reeves. Where are they going to do with the gas station is gone? Where Washington and Roosevelt Highway is, that gas station is gone. And what they're going to do, I know they was going to supposed to put some kind of Job Corps on the corner there. What are they doing with that now? Because all of a sudden, all construction has stopped abruptly. What are we doing with that property over there now?
I'm
Thanks,
gonna
Paul.
let you contact David Scott's office, who does your congressman, and that is under his wheelhouse. That's federal property. I did suggest though that they make a partnership with like Fort Valley or have a satellite campus of a college or secondary educational source, as they have a footprint for it, and then include the Job Corps in there. Seeing that Fort Valley does have, it's an agricultural school. We're the #1 state for doing business, and we're agricultural state, and they can grow. And anyway, I just think that was a suggestion, but however, they're going to move forward with the Job Corps. But I just contact your congressional office for the authoritative answer on your question.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for explaining the map too.
And not a problem, man. I just wanted to let you know, since we're kind of on the topic, we have finally gotten our roundabout there at that location. I saw there was a question about that in the chat. That roundabout is finally let. So you should start to see some cones and barrels and some construction and some dirt turning over there. We had also had some things to finalize in terms of the right-of-way and property acquisition with the federal parcel that was over there. So that is underway as well. So look for some updates on that.
So that
Right,
means, let me just read. So that means traffic there is going to be shut off then, right? On that part of the end. So we're going to have to start looking other means to come home, because that's a big artery for, Sable Chase, my subdivision, the school. Is there a way we can come there and see what plans you guys are rerouting the traffic?
That project will also, if you want to go to the area office and see the plans for that project, you can. I will tell you that when we're doing these projects, both of these projects do not have detours. We designed the project so that traffic could flow through the construction zone while it's being constructed. That does not mean that there's going to be delays. There will be delays. But we're not detouring, or we're not, closing off the corridors or anything like that. We're going to maintain traffic through both the projects.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Denard, I want to see this design, because what's going to be in the center point of that roundabout, because it's going to pretty have to be, it's not going to be a small roundabout, but pretty to handle that traffic. Is there going to be a center point or something of that nature in the middle of the roundabout, like artwork or something like that, or a sculpture, or something?
So as far as I know, and I've extended this to South Fulton, right now, I don't think that there's anything that's in the center of that of the roundabout. Typically, a roundabout doesn't have, huge obstructions or whatever it may be, but there can be some, decorative landscaping, some landscaping, but that's often, again, one of those things that we partner with the locals government on. And I have extended to the city of South Fulton, hey, do you all want some sort of welcome, some sort of gateway feature in the roundabout?
See, absolutely. Go ahead.
Now, right now, I haven't been able to coordinate or, get a response. But that's something that I can certainly follow up with you all on this, discuss options.
I mean, right, because I can just see a big welcome to the city of South Fulton like that, that maybe like, and at night, shoot water out there that lights up and stuff like
Why? So somebody can tear it down? Somebody gonna run into it? Oh,
Right.
No.
Excuse me, this is
Why
Glenda
do we
Collins.
want to tear it down? Why don't?
How do we get a question in?
Well, Ms.
Raise
Grant,
your
I'm
hand.
letting Ms. Collins go. You're gonna be after Ms. Collins, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Collins, go ahead.
No, Ms.
Collins?
Williams had her hand up.
Okay. Ms. Collins, are you speaking? Once, twice. We'll circle back. Ms. Williams, bear with me real quick. Let's get Ms. Brandt's question and then we'll come back to you, okay?
I just had a question. Thank you. I just had a question, and I actually put it in the chat a few times. I didn't know if anybody was checking questions in the chat, but I need to find out what the status of the bridge replacement on Bethsaida Road. It's between, I don't know the name of the bridge, but it's between Quill Road and Connell Road. I believe it's been approved, but the last time I took a look out there on the city's website, it's basically stopped. So there's no information about anything of when it will begin. And they, someone actually, I think it was DOT, sent a questionnaire out maybe the end of last year about, how traffic, how, just letting us know that it's going to be done and that there'll be traffic rerouting off of Bethsaida, but everything's kind of come to a halt. And like I said, when I go out on the city website to look, there's really no information. And then within that time, what I was told by Mr. Consuela, I believe, I may be pronouncing his name wrong, but this was last year, a couple years ago, because I've been trying to get sidewalks, that small stretch of road. If you go from Highway 138 all the way down to Old National Highway, there are sidewalks, with the exception between the four-way stop sign at the four-way stop sign at Creel Road and Connor Road. There are no sidewalks. And they did the study in 2019, it was either 2018 or 2019, deemed that the sidewalks were necessary. But again, everything's come to a halt. I can't get anybody to answer my email. Can't get anything done from See Click Fix, because all they do is close it with no resolution. So I need for somebody, and Councilman, can you please write this down and get back with me? My telephone number is 770-873-8530. I live in that stretch of road. I've lived here for 30 years. I own my home. And it seems like anything between Connell and Creole just gets thrown to the side for everything else in this city. So I really need for somebody to answer me on that. Because
Okay,
sending
we will.
emails and all that stuff doesn't work.
Okay,
Thank you.
we got you. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Williams, go ahead.
What,
I mean, if the
you,
gentleman, sorry.
what? Oh, okay. You talking about somebody else?
Ms. Williams?
Oh, is there another Miss Williams on the call?
Stacy
Corey?
Williams,
Or you talking to me?
Stacy Williams.
Oh, okay.
Jane, we get it. We know you love to talk, but get it on me. We got we gonna get Stacy in this time. Go ahead, Stacy. Stacy? Okay, oh well, while we wait on this, is we're gonna circle back to you too as Ms. Collins. But Mr. Denard, maybe this is you can help with this is that when you said y'all wouldn't get waiting on the construction phase of the acquisitions, right? Airway acquisitions. That would also include demolition, correct?
Yeah, so demolition happens during the right-of-way phase, sometimes before construction, sometimes during construction. But typically after, if we have a parcel in which we have to, take the whole property and compensate the owner for the whole property, we usually demo it after all of the negotiations and different things have occurred and after the parcel has been closed.
Right, after they receive their compensation check.
Yes.
Right, so check this out. So I send your wheelhouse, but just for the application of the public and someone who owns a small business, someone who has this, how would one go about becoming a vendor for GDOT and being able to bid on one of these projects, knowing that it's coming down the pipeline if they're in the community? And so, not saying that this is your wheelhouse, but if you have the process on who can they contact and how will they get involved to become a vendor, because we do want people to have the opportunity, if they want to take advantage of going through the process to become a vendor, to be able to bid on these local projects here.
Okay, so
do you know how they would get started?
Yes, I was gonna say it's been kind of going in and out, but from what I heard, you're asking how small businesses and different folks can begin to try to apply for or get into GDOT projects in regards to some of the works that are going on with GDOT projects. We actually have a program management, and we actually have a supportive services center that's located in Decatur. So I always point small business owners, minority business owners, local business owners in the area to reach out and actually go to the center in Decatur. If you type in GDOT, go to DBE or Small Business Supportive Services, you can pull up the address and the phone number and contact information, and they will literally walk you through what it takes to get pre-qualified, how to reach out, what the bidding process looks like. they'll give you all of the answers you need to get plugged in to GDOT projects.
Okay, now, Mr.
Can I
Denard, let me
piggyback
ask,
behind him?
right, hold on, let me just say this, ask this, because we all want to introduce our, what's that, environmental responsibility, right? So if they'll do that, do you think that they would do online educational tutorial for this group, or anybody who wants to participate? They can do it on a Monday call, or just how to become a vendor. We can do one whole call about that. Do you think they would be open to that?
I would talk to the manager over there. Her name is Carol Phelps, and
Carol
they host all kinds of things. They host workshops. You know, they'll do one-on-ones with business owners. They have a very robust program. So if you go on and type in, like I said, GDOT small business or GDOT supportive service business, DBE something, it'll pull up the number and the contact information, and you can get much more in-depth information from her.
Absolutely, Carol Phelps. And go ahead, Timmy. Thank you, Mr. Denard.
I used to work at MARTA, so I want to piggyback with him on a little bit of detail for the small businesses. I would, and y'all know I have the business plan class. I would recommend a small business participate in the DBE program, which is short for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And once you apply for that program, you also get an MBE certification from the state, which is the Minority Business Enterprise. The reason I'm saying that is because larger companies, when they bid on these contracts, they have to work with a certain percentage per contract that they require. DBE is specific to Department of Transportation. And so when they have to get a certain percentage, let's say, let me back up. Disadvantage, for the sake of this conversation, you don't have $20 million in your bank account. You disadvantaged. And that includes minorities and women. So let's say, for the sake of the argument, that a larger company uses a woman-owned business, but she is not certified, and they have to do 10%. That person does not count as part of their 10%, that counts as part of their 90%. And so these programs are being put in place to make the bigger companies work with the smaller companies, which means they're generally not going to use you if they don't have to. They're going to go with who they want to go with. But even in that realm, they're still going to work with who they want to work with. So if they can get the points and the credit for working with a DBE organization or company, then they're going to take that opportunity versus one that is not certified. So if they have a choice between certified and not certified, they're going to take the certified company first and get their credit. Now, the backup to that is City of South Fulton is getting ready to have a how to do the business with the City of South Fulton, which we can also discuss the rest of those details on how to do business with the state, not just the city. That economic development is starting a series this month that will be lunch and learn on Wednesdays. So I'll post that flyer and check your newsletter.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tamiko, for
Hopefully
that.
that helps.
Thank you, Tamiko, for that wonderful explanation, because we do want to let people know that construction is on the way. We are going to be building. And if you thought about it, want to, or, have a small business, take advantage of these programs, because they have a lot of money to spend. And so, they want to get goals and reach those goals. And hey, listen here, we have the man on the phone who's letting you know about the projects that's coming up. And we have other subject matter experts in place on the how-to. So the only thing that's on is, if you know anybody, you or yourself want to take advantage of it. And so, because these how-tos, you build the relationships, and that's what, build upon that, and, the economics. And so look here, you have an opportunity. So, but I'll tell you, any more questions for Mr. Denard?
Yes, Corey, can you hear me now? This is Stacy Williams.
Stacy.
Okay,
hey.
sorry, I
Yeah.
had something going on with my mic. Okay, I'm gonna make it really quick. Mr. Denard, thank you for being on the call. You had mentioned that the Buffington Road widening project, those that had to basically go into closing, like if their land was being taken or whatever the case is, for those that were directly affected, everything should have been closed out. What about those of us that everything has not been closed out as of yet? We've reached out to Ruben and he's been great, but at this point we've been told that the bid has been accepted and we needed to wait about 45 days before we see any movement. What would you suggest we do for those that everything has not been closed out yet and we live, like our backyards are on Buffington Road essentially? What course of action would you suggest that we take at this point?
You all need to reach out to me and send me an email with your address and your information, and then we can speak to the right-of-way staff directly. But you all need to be informed about what's going to happen. And, you know, like I said, the process typically flows where all of the right-of-way and parcels and all of that are closed out. Rarely will we advance into the construction stage with what's called a conditional certification, but we cannot get on property without acquiring easements and right-of-way and all of those types of things. So if it's one thing if you're a parcel owner and you're the project, that green space encroaches upon your property, it's another thing if you're just in the neighborhood with the parcels that are affected, you know.
Right.
So if you are one of the affected parcel owners, then you need to reach out to me. And so I'm going to leave my email in the chat. While we're on that, I just wanted to mention that Mrs. Branch's question about the Bethsaida Road Bridge, I sent you a direct response in the chat email with the project manager's contact information. So.
Thank you, I received it.
But yes, Ruben is going to continue to be your contact throughout the construction of the project. But Ms. Williams, please reach out to me with your direct concern and we'll address.
I will. Thank you so much, because literally we have two houses that are being affected, and it's my house and my mother's house, and her house is right on the corner where the easement is going in, like essentially right at that light. And we're having quite a bit of an issue. So I will definitely reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what, Mr. Denard? I'm sorry. She just brought something up. Now, I do and will need to love for this to happen. As how would one get the noise barrier wall established from flat shows going all the way around to the 279 exit, Highway 279 exit, as because, and the reason, like the one that got down in Newton, like, you know, kind of, and so and the reason I say that is those houses, those communities, like when people actually get stopped on the road, they stop on the highway, they cut through those communities. It could be 2 in the morning, they go knock on the doors. Some even use them for extracurricular activity. But how is it and how can we get those noise barrier walls put up? And then how long, just say all things being equal, how long will that process take from the thought of it to the implementation of those noise barrier walls? That goes from flat shows all the way around to the Highway 279 exit.
Gotcha. I wish y'all are giving me the tough questions today, but that's okay. So noise barrier walls are one of the most difficult things, and I'll say probably one of the most, outside of potholes, one of the most sought after things, especially along the interstate. There's literally a federal funding constraint, and it's a requirement that before any noise wall is installed, there has to be an approved noise study that's associated. So, one of the things that you mentioned was we're putting up the barriers to actually prevent people from getting on and off, and, that interaction between the public, and that may not necessarily be noise related, but those walls, when they're installed, are, go in after a noise study is done and determine that a noise barrier is the solution that they're going to do. So that's the first thing. We do noise studies when there is an approved project that would allow us to do a study. And usually those consist of widening projects, the widening of the interstate. When we're doing, we do a noise study when there's an interchange reconstruction. So just in that vicinity, we're doing a noise study at the, the Jonesboro interchange.
Did we answer the question?
And so we're doing noise studies with widening, or what's called federal type 1 projects. So those are kind of the catalysts for getting a project. I know specifically in the area that I've been asked for, and I think the mayor sent me a question about it. Just it's kind of near in between 85 or 285 and Flat Shoals, I believe is what he was asking about. Or just around that Flat Shoals interchange. But right now there's no approved project right there. That's a widening project or an interchange reconstruction. So we don't have a noise barrier. So if there's a specific answer or specific area, if you could send me that in an email, and I can get with we have a whole section, a noise section in our Office of Environmental Services that does our noise studies and can provide you a response.
Absolutely. And let me just say this. Do you believe, like, if you 2 centimeters in the front of the white lines, you're still in bounds of play, right?
You said still in bounds to play?
You're still in bounds of play, right? You're going to push the envelope, right? So check this out. Buffington Road, the widening project, actually crosses over the highway, has a little bridge. So could we just use that little caveat there to get that noise study done to try to get these noise barrier walls? I mean, we could try it, right?
I certainly see where you come from.
I'm
but
trying to tell you, right?
They have done the noise. They have done the noise studies associated with Buffington Road. I think those were done years ago. But yes, I see where you're coming from. But it ends at Royal South. Right.
Oh, right. But it goes right over.
It Royal South. If we go across the bridge, then I forgot the name of the lady who was asking about where the project terminates, but we may have an issue if it goes over.
That was Miss Loretta.
Yes, Miss Loretta. So,
but that's kind of pushing the envelope, because that's kind of where it would end at, right? So, and with all of the new, let's say, freight forward movers and former 18-wheelers, would a new study be warranted to update currently due to the increased traffic from, because they put a warehouse, Amazon warehouse there, and on the corner of Buffington and Flat Shoals on the Union City side, of the street.
Well, like I said, it would definitely come with the widening of really the interstate or that interchange.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, certainly the city can do something in regards to the land disturbance permit and so forth. But usually our noise studies come along with the widening of the interstate or the interchanges. So. Right,
because you said your Office of Environmental handles that for you, correct?
That's correct. So send me the location.
Or I'm gonna send it to you. So if the city had an environmental committee, our environmental committee could warrant a noise study, and in conjunction with your environmental, to get the correct or accurate or the data that you would use to go after the federal funding.
Well, I was gonna say, what usually when they send those responses out, they have all of the federal codes and, you know, the analysis. I just was reading one earlier today. So we can definitely plug whoever you have in the city in with what we do in coordination with the feds on that.
Absolutely. Well, we could probably do a lunch and learn with your environmental committee and our environmental committee, so they can just kind of get those updates onto the federal policy. Is I think that will warrant that knowledge in the future. But yeah, I think that's an idea. Okay, well, let me say this is does anybody else, Mr. Denard, let me just thank you again for taking out your time of this day, and you have been very knowledgeable and have answered the questions that people had for you, and you came very well prepared, and so that our constituents know that we are working and we're doing it, but it's a process. And so, but does anybody else have a
Excuse
question?
me, this is Glenda
Excuse
Collins.
me, I have a
Hold
question.
on, hold
for
it,
you.
everybody. First of all, we raise hands in here.
I
Second
cannot
of
get my
all-
hand to work, Tamiko.
Me
No,
neither.
no.
Okay, just a moment though.
Right, but Tamiko,
Someone
Thank
with
God.
then say
E
we're gonna
has
circle
their
back with
hand
Ms.
up.
Collins.
And so first of all, who is the person with their hand up with the letter E? We don't have a full name, so please tell us your name.
I apologize. Hi, my name is Esther. This is my first time on this call. I don't know if this question is relevant. I apologize if I'm diverting away from your expansion conversation regarding Buffington. I just want to know, who do I speak to in terms of needing like a, what do you call that? A street light and sidewalk in the Burdett and Hampton area. How do you go about that?
That's gonna be a local question, but let's just give you that's first time joining here. But that's gonna be a local question because Burdett is a city street, and that is going to be a public works question. And are you trying to get a light at Hampton and Burdett Road?
Yeah, there's a plot of land. I've lived here, what is it now? Almost since 2009. And when you're walking from the main road from Old National, and then when you're coming in, there's a plot of land right between Lantern before you get to Burdett. And as somebody who takes the bus, if I come in late at night, that's just a very scary place to walk by. And I don't even know what the process is. It never occurred to me. Having moved here from somewhere else.
Lights, and so have that place be well lit. And so, but I do understand your concerns. As we'll have your representatives on the call too from that community, and so, but we will we can have an offline conversation about that and see how that process will work as we get ready to make improvements in that area in that corridor. So,
do you know the plot of land I'm talking about? You know exactly where I'm talking about?
You said there's a plot of land.
Right. So there's
walking down and going headed towards Hampton Court from Highway 279. The plot of land is on the left-hand side.
That's correct.
Right. There's an old house on there, correct?
Before you get to the old house, that plot of land between Lantern and before you get to the old house,
Okay,
and then before you change, yeah.
Yes, I got you. I know what you're talking about now. Yes, ma'am.
Wait, who's speaking right now? Sorry, I don't.
This is Councilman Reeves.
Okay, okay. So you're saying, and what do you say I should do next?
No, we'll have an offline conversation about how we would to work towards a solution for that. But that's
When you say offline, how would I do that? What do you mean?
okay. Put your information in the chat. And Tamiko Leverett, General Leverett, we'll get that and shoot you information, and then we'll have a phone call meeting, and then we can further the conversation. And I come out there, and so we can visualize and see what we're talking about, and so then we can further that conversation with the subject matter experts within the city to achieve that objective. But that's a city conversation.
Okay, so I'm just writing down what you're saying to do. So you're Councilman Corey Reeves, And then I should just put my phone number in the chat and you will contact me as to what to do next. Am I
Yeah, yeah.
understanding correctly?
Yeah, send me, just do this for me. Send me an email, Corey.Reeves@cityofsouthfulton.ga.gov.
I'm sorry. COREY.REEVES. And then what comes next?
At,
I'm putting it in the chat.
thank you,
Okay, great.
City of South Fulton,
Okay.
GA.gov. Thank you so much. Now with this, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
circle back to Ms. Collins, because I called her out earlier, and then so, guess she had a speaker problem, but go ahead, Ms. Collins.
Yes, how are you? And thank you, Mr. Denard. My question is, when you build a roundabout, will it accommodate the 18-wheelers going in the circle without encroaching on the middle section, or any cars will be endangered because of these wheelers going around the circle?
Great
So-
question.
So that's a great question. So all of the roundabouts that are designed, and not just the Buffington Road project, but also the Roosevelt at Washington Road, they are designed specifically with the purpose of accommodating not only just the tractor trailers, the WB67 tractor trailers, but also fire trucks, as well as the MARTA bus. So we do all heavy vehicles, and we run templates, with our, design software to make sure that the wheel paths are met. Now, to let you know, there's two parts of the central island. There's what's called the truck apron, and that's usually a brick or a concrete, typically a concrete paved section that allows the vehicles or the heavy vehicles, trucks, whoever it is, to track on the concrete portion. And then the second portion of the central island is the grassed area where you see, like some of the low shrubs and different things, some of the landscaping elements, if the local government has them. But the roundabouts are designed, and the curb in the middle is specifically designed for the trucks to track over it. And so it is designed with that in mind, and it's designed so that passenger cars as well can navigate around the circle safely.
Okay, one other question is, now, if these pads become damaged, is the DOT responsible for the repairs? And who is responsible for the upkeep on these roundabouts? And if you have the 18-wheelers that have two trailers, will it accommodate two trailers going through the roundabout?
So first question, who's responsible for the maintenance of the roundabout? So maintenance is a shared responsibility between GDOT and the locals. So usually, we'll be out there for state routes, it's every 45 days, where we're doing the mowing and different things like that. We do our resurfacing of the roads on a schedule based on when it's needed and based on the pavement analysis. So GDOT is mainly responsible for the condition of that roundabout, and striping and different things like that. And the city supplements in terms of if they do more frequent landscaping, if they want those more decorative elements in the roundabout, then we'll have an agreement with them to maintain that. Second question, is the roundabout, will it be able to handle the trailers with two trailers? We can check, but all of our roundabouts are designed for the WB67 vehicle. So sometimes if there's the WB67 is the longest trailer, and sometimes there's two short trailers that is the equivalent length of that long trailer. But if it doesn't accommodate that, which is very rare that it has the two trailers, there's alternate ways that can go. And usually we recommend oversized, overweight vehicles to stay on designated routes that can accommodate them.
And will you have signage to this effect?
So usually oversized, overweight vehicles have a permit that they have to apply for. And so their routes are given to them when they apply for those permits.
Well, we have situations here where when the freeways are backed up because of accidents, then traffic backs up and the drivers use any roads they can to get to their destination. And that is an issue. So therefore, do you have signage or will you have signage?
Yeah, there is advanced warning signage of roundabouts that come, or the advanced signage for the roundabout that is placed out there in advance. So if there's a heavy vehicle that's oversized or overweight that they know that they can't go through a smaller intersection, then they're likely going to reroute. And there's places that they can reroute, but we won't have specific signage for that special case. But I'm gonna tell you that the roundabout's probably gonna accommodate 99.5% of vehicles.
Okay, and another question is, I put it in the chat regarding Fairwood and Roosevelt Highway. We have had many accidents there and many a failure. Actually, there was one there yesterday on Mother's Day. Now, because of that, the woman spoke before, because of this increase in the speed limit from 45 to 55 in that area. We need a solution there. It is a deadly situation. And it needs to be revisited by DOT since you are in charge of it. Thank you.
And thank you so much for that comment. I sent a response, a direct message to you that I'll ask our engineers to incorporate that safety analysis, and we'll definitely take a look into that fatality or the incident that you're speaking of that happened yesterday. We have a crash investigator who looks at fatalities across the district, so we'll look into that.
Okay, thank you very much.
We have two questions, I think really quick. Matt can't raise his hand, so I think he had a question.
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you, Councilman Reeves, Mr. Denard. Very informative. I thank the citizens that showed up to do this. This is an off line of what we're talking about. So I'm wondering if there's a way to get a couple of citizens together and actually have an in-person meeting with Councilman Reeves. And how do we do that? Is that the email address?
Yeah, Mr. Mack, I just call me. I will I'll pull up over there, and I'm available anytime. So just let me hold on, let me rewind that. I'm available at certain times during the week and during the day. It's gonna be after 4 o'clock, I can tell you that for sure. On the weekends, 12 on Saturdays between 12 and 4, 12 and 5. So yes. But just let me know, send that to me. I'll pull up on y'all, no problem. As you know, we used to the driveway conversations. So I'm available to come to you guys. So there have to be anything special, just let me know. And let's do this for a couple of days in time. So let's just do that. So we could just want to, keep it accurate as possible.
Okay,
so,
thank you. Thank you so much.
Is there any more questions for Mr.
Mr.
Denard?
Patterson has his hand up, and that'll be the last question for today.
Mr. Patterson, go ahead. Mr. Patterson? Mr. Patterson.
Go ahead, Justine.
Hi, it's Jay, everybody. I wanted to ask you, I kind of came in late, but I heard you talking about the money they had available for people who wanted to start their own business. I kind of wrote it down as how to. So what should that be under, Corey?
Okay, so it's not money for it, but how to do business with the city of South Fulton. And then we talked about how to do business with GDOT. And they have a outfit in Decatur that can navigate through that. But General Lever gave explanation too on bringing that class, and they can probably merge those two together as doing how to do business with the city of South Fulton. And
Okay,
get
but that's a quick,
information.
thank you for that response. And I wanted to ask you, I did notice that they did put a sign up in front of the Amazon in Union City, United States. I guess that's Union City's kind of borderline right there on Buffington. So
Absolutely.
the other part on Flat Shoals, why won't Amazon, cut the grass on the Flat Shoal side? They own that whole, I mean, it just looks horrible. Their little, what is that? The matted black crap is falling down. The bushes are hot. Amazon makes too much money. So who handles that? You, or is that the city of South Fulton on Flat Shoals, or is that still Union City? I'm trying to figure it out now.
Well,
I think that's
Union City, and it's still it's in the
Mhm.
right of way. But because I wish our code enforcement could actually, get with them, and because there could be a code violation. We do have a subject matter expert on it, at least it was on the code, but there could be. But that's probably having a conversation with Union City's code enforcement. Again, that's where those relationships come in, because I will call my counterpart and I can, ask him as well the question that you asked me.
And I think, I don't know if somebody mentioned it, but the light on Flat Shoals does not have the turning light to make the left there. And they need that turning light. I normally don't make that left, but I see cars getting stuck there. It should be
All the
it's on
time.
one side, but not on the other side, if you can understand.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll reach out and get back to you. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:42. I do want to thank you. Wait, can there be sidewalks and stuff from Flat Shoals and Old Nationals Highway 138? That's Mr. Denard, do you want to answer that question? Because I do know that that's underway, and I know we on the city side have to match the federal funding 20%. But do you have any insight onto that question? They're talking about phase 2 of the sidewalk from Highway 279 to 138 from Flat Shoals.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I know that that's an ongoing project. I'd have to see exactly where that is, but as far as I know, it was under design from Flat Shoals to 138. But I can look into that.
Okay, well, you can come up when you said early June. You want to come back?
Yes, so I was gonna try to do sometime early or mid-June, and I can coordinate with your staff on that.
Okay, absolutely. And again, thank you again, Mr. Denard. As I tell you, go have you some hot wings, man, some hot lemon pepper. I know I want some with some fries. And so, but I thank you again for taking time out of your day. And I'll send you that information forthcoming. And we'll look forward to seeing you in June, sir.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And to the ladies and gentlemen, to the constituency, this is the call. This is your agenda. I hope that you did get answers and to the questions that you had. And if you wasn't thinking about it, something to think about and what we are doing. Remember, this call is all about being informative and being engaging and giving you the things that are factual from the subject matter experts themselves. And I do want to let's give Tamiko Lever, General Lever, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And because one thing it is, what did we have today? Day one of our interns. See, she done wrote a grant for the pen and got it won. And we got interns from Georgia Tech. And we're going to be working on using them for 12 weeks. And so she did that. So thank y'all for bearing with us during this period of time. As there have been things we just working on some important things to better the quality of life of the constituency overall, and we needed some help, and we got that help. And so, but she has also been writing a couple of grants but I just wanted to give her kudos and flowers right here, because she did an awesome job buckling down, and getting that done. And so,
Well,
if you
thank
see
you.
two young people around us, you'll know exactly what that's about.
Thank you,
And
Tamiko.
but
No,
I
thank
want to say
y'all.
that
I just want to say thank you for
Yeah,
that.
and I
I
just want to
wasn't
let y'all know that
expecting
we
that,
do work
but
hard for y'all.
look,
Oh,
and my grant team, they call and check in, that we had, they do call and check in. And I want to, say for, just really quickly about them. I'll probably get them on next week because I, wore them out for day one. They asked, could they go home and take a nap at 5 o'clock? So.
get it. They tell them we don't got 12 weeks. Ain't no napping here, but we gonna be get this. We have a lot of work to do, and so in a short, long period of time. But let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen, we do work hard for you guys, and so it's like, but you know, as a team effort is what we do. Y'all are an extension of the team too. So I just tell you that y'all being engaged on this call, really, I hope can shed light on giving people 30 cc's of goddamn truth on what is actually happening. I don't, give foolishness oxygen. I just and because by the way, this is Mental Health Month as well. So please check your mental health. As I check mine, and so it's like it can check your mental health and be encouraged to. If you need to go talk to somebody, do that. Don't be scared. It's okay. Okay. And so, but that is important. And so do what you do it to the best of your ability, and that's all you can do. And so all the rest, whatever. But stay to the facts, stick to the course, stay the course, and everything will work itself out. Just try to maintain and do the right thing. And so, but I love you all. Y'all can do something about it, but why? And I'm just gonna say y'all are the best part of the city of South Fulton as
And don't
people.
forget to visit the ordinance, the signs for the ordinance.
Signs for the ordinance.
Uh-huh.
What?
Mr. Morris was removing the signs not based on the ordinance. Please read it.
Oh, you talking about what? The campaign signs?
Yes.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, well, that's another conversation for another day.
I know it.
I get it, but right, please, you see now you're gonna get ladies and gentlemen, it has been a night of the who's frying chicken tonight? And I hope everybody did enjoy their weekend, the Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Because you're mother every day. And so do you have anything? Oh, Midnight Madness. Hey, anybody 17 and 28, please get them to sign up for team. It's free of charge. We're giving our youth something to do because we're going to be playing from 9 to 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. So the summer is coming up, so we're trying to have something to do at night so that keeping young men and women occupied, and so with something constructive. And we also too have a trade university from Tenard, the Parks and Recs. As you want to learn how to become an electrician, at a fiber optic installation, HVAC, it's free. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to tell you that if you have an opportunity to have somebody have a trade, they sitting around playing PlayStation, tell them to come on out 6 weeks, have something behind their belt, and this is the thing that we're offering at Bird Ed. Come on, sign up this is the last week to register for the Midnight Basketball. So anybody get a team. And so you got a church, got a team, 17 to 20.
Don't forget to go vote for Jane tomorrow.
And tomorrow, I was just about to end it with the Super Tuesday vote. Tomorrow's Super Tuesday.
Yes,
Don't
I'll
forget
be
to go
on the
vote for
caller for
Jane.
Jane.
Go vote for Jane tomorrow.
Vote for Jane.
Jane Williams.
Williams.
Jane Williams, if you still on the call,
Jane
would you like to
Williams
say
working
something?
hard for us.
She's just such an awesome person. And
She
so,
stepped out for another meeting.
oh, well, she stepped out. I'll give her an opportunity, but look here. She speaks often and every time, so y'all know who she is. We all know who she is. And so, hey, let me just say this. Nobody knew nothing until they got a chance. Y'all gave me a chance. And so, as
You're right, Corey.
I say to the unknown, get this. Let the unknown be the X factor. You never know what can happen with the X factor. So I'll just leave with that. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that do go vote tomorrow. Or if you have already early voted, I know I vote tomorrow. So as I love the action of Tuesday. So, but that's me. But thank you all for early voting, all y'all who did. I would appreciate it. Well, I'll see y'all during the week. Mr. Mack, don't forget to reach out. I'll pull up on y'all, have a conversation. Let's continue the conversation. And anybody else who wants me to pull up on them, just send it out. As I will do have dates and times. I ain't gonna say anytime, but I will pull up in your driveway. We can have a conversation. And so, to all, Tamiko, did you have anything else?
No, we'll bring on the new interns next week. And we have some more things coming, but just so you know, District 5 is the only ones who have approved interns for this summer, because we put in for the program last October. And so they'll be here for the whole summer. They'll be working with us to focus on the cottage homes, container homes, Friday Night Live. So we have a whole list of dates and announcements that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks. So get ready, everybody.
Absolutely. And so we are on the move because we are the 5th district and y'all are part of it. And so y'all are it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good evening. Enjoy your Monday, the balance of your Monday.
Thank you, Corey.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It was nice being in the meeting for the first time. I'm encouraged to come back. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Absolutely.
This is Esther.
Bye, Miss Esther.
Thank you,
Send me
Corey.
an
And
email,
Welcome, Ms.
Esther.
Esther.
I will. Thank you,
All right.
everybody. Bye.
thank you. Good night.
Night.
Good night, John Boy. Don't nobody know nothing about that.
I do. That's hilarious.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Same to everyone else.